Email marketing is probably one of the most overlooked marketing channels within premium and luxury brands. And today we're going to talk about 9 automations that you must have turned on, set up, and optimized for your brand in order to grow your email marketing performance, but also grow your customer base in the long term. Let's talk about it. So why do we think email marketing is such a big miss when it comes to premium luxury brands? The first thing is it's not seen as valuable because you're effectively only nurturing customers you already have. And I think today in the digital marketing world, we're always thinking about new customers, new people, new audiences. So I think it's overlooked in that way. The second thing is I think creative is massively overlooked when it comes to email marketing. And a lot more can be done for premium luxury brands to make sure they look and feel a certain way within their email marketing. And the third thing is thinking about the long term. Email marketing is incredibly key in today's world to stop you having to be reliant on platforms like Meta, TikTok, and Google. Although we love those platforms and we use them every day, having great retention and using the first-party data that you own to continue to grow your premium luxury brand is one of the biggest overlooks I think that's happening right now within the space. As we said today, we're going to go through 9 basic automations that you might have set up, you might already have in place. There's definitely 2 of them that you should have, but there's 7 others that you might not have thought about, and they're very easy to set up. Now at 303, we are a Klaviyo partner, so we predominantly use Klaviyo for most of our clients. So today I'm going to be really referencing Klaviyo more than anything, but obviously if you have any questions on their platforms, do drop a comment down below or get in touch with us and we should be able to help. Secondly, a lot of these are very generic flows, so you should be able to set these up within other email marketing channels. So number 1, the welcome series. Now this is probably one of the ones that you have got set up. This is an automated flow which is triggered when someone subscribes to your newsletter within your site, or perhaps they have made their first purchase, and this is also triggering at that point to give more detail. A few pro tips here. Number 1, if this isn't set up, definitely get it set up. Often people, when they're doing a email subscription, subscribing to a newsletter, they'll also give a discount code in this welcome series, which is quite key to look at. But also obviously we're looking at a post-purchase after someone's purchased their first item, sending them this welcome series. That might not be the right thing to do. So maybe look at having 2 different flows there, 2 different forms of your welcome series. But a welcome series is super key for many reasons. The first thing is giving more context. A lot of the times when we look at welcome series, people are often just saying, hey, here's your 10% off. This is our brand, shop the range, for example. Building in more dynamic content is super key for a welcome series. So a few things to think about. How can you give more insights into the brand? Great example is having a piece of content within the brand, which is maybe giving an insight if you're a founder-led brand or if you've got some public figures within the brand, ambassadors, creators, etc. Filming a piece of content which welcomes someone to the brand, having that depth of connection is a great idea. So look at doing that. You can easily embed a video, link it out to something like YouTube, which is where you're watching this video right now. Second thing is obviously look at how you can structure that content from a written perspective. So can we write out any content that's about the brand or certain values? And the third thing is dynamically in a welcome series, make sure you're mentioning things like bestsellers, things like new releases to really make sure people are having that insight. So you're making the most of them feeling connected into the brand. You've got to remember they're still very top of funnel at a welcome series. So you might not know much about you. They might have only just found the brand. So giving them some value in terms of education around the brand is a really key thing to do. It's probably one you have already. It's also one that doesn't really get changed. Big thing that we always see is the welcome series is the same welcome series for about 3 years and never gets altered. We look at altering welcome series at least every quarter, update it with some freshness. You've got seasonality to bring into there. You've got new releases. You've maybe got changes within the brand. Look at bringing that into your welcome series. Don't just let it sit unoptimized for a year period. That's one of the big things we see. You'll be surprised how much revenue can be driven from a welcome series. Obviously, you've got potential discount codes which are used. Need to be used a little bit less in premium luxury in my opinion, but they are being used in there, so you might want to look at how that's converting, but also just giving value, giving people more insight. You'll be surprised how much impact that can have commercially. Okay, next up we have the abandoned cart, the second one that you probably very likely have in place. It's probably I think it's the second most popular, or maybe the first most popular flow within Klaviyo that brands always set up. It's kind of pretty much a given in terms of looking at why you should have it set up. So someone's gone through a whole process and they've just missed the last step. A few things to look out for here that we've seen in some data. The first thing is looking how you can be more dynamic within what you do within Klaviyo. So a lot of times people would just say, we think you missed something within the email. It's not very well designed. It feels quite kind of text heavy, generic, not thought out. Look at improving that. That drives conversions over the line massively. The second thing there is looking at dynamic content. So often we will see an abandoned cart email and it would just have, we think you've missed something, revisit, as opposed to bringing in the actual product that's in play there. So look at bringing that through, because that's really key. The other thing to test is things like subject lines and also the conversion window. So what I mean by the conversion window is how quickly that email is going out to someone. We've seen so many variations of this in different ways, and we've also seen it be different across different products. So someone puts something in a abandoned cart, they jump off. How long until that email is triggered and sent out? Is it 10 minutes? Is it an hour? Is it a day? Really look at testing that, and that's a key thing to look at optimizing, particularly in seasonality periods. So as an example, around Q4, where you've got things like Black Friday and you've got the Christmas period, we actually see that it's much better to have a shorter period around that abandoned cart, because people are shopping so much. There's so many things going in baskets. They've got 3,000 tabs open and they're trying to buy everything for their family, or they're trying to maximize a sale period. If you leave it a day, they've maybe stopped all their shopping, or they've, not got the cash that they had before, whatever that might look like. And that's where you're thinking, oh, actually, they've found something else. They found another alternative. So that's where we shorten the window. In other periods, we might find that a day is better because we want people to have that digestion period. And, we go for exactly 24 hours because we think they're likely going to be shopping online again the following day at that time, not necessarily like during the working day or something like that. So test that period of time when you look at abandoned carts. Easy way to find some optimizations there, and easy way to find out what's working for your brand. When it comes to those nuances, it's so brand specific, and we never say that one size fits all. We see some things work with one client and things not work with another. It's just how it works. Couple of things to think about there. The final thing is that subject line. Often people go with, we think you missed this. Often people go with, come back for 10% off. Test that subject line very heavily. However, although you're looking at a very heavy conversion action, the best examples of subject lines in abandoned carts I've seen that convert really well often aren't come back for 10%, or we'll give you an offer to check out now, whatever that looks like. Often it's like playing into some level of emotion. So let's say you're a skincare brand, and let's say you've got a serum which you're kind of comparing to the equivalent of a £200 facial, something like that. You could go with a subject line that's like, do you really want to miss out on the £200 facial? It's a bit more like, wait a minute, what does that mean? Why is that? And then you go through and they've got your product, which is the alternative to that. Think about, be creative with it. Creative performance doesn't just come in from what things visually look like, they also come in from things like copy as well. So bear that in mind. Okay, next up is the browse abandonment, which is a flow which is triggered when someone is within the site and they've left the browsing and you've still got their data. Sometimes it's a lot harder to have this happen, but it is something that brands often just don't think about. There are lots of different plugins you can use to make this happen. Browse abandonment for me is you're feeling very top of funnel. I wouldn't be offering any discounting there. I wouldn't be aiming for conversion action within that email. What I'll be offering is more information, more value. It's very likely that someone has jumped off of a browse in terms of they've been looking around, not added anything to cart just yet, or just abandoned the store and not wanting to come back. Giving them more value and more insight is probably the best way to get them back, as opposed to here's a major deal, because everyone's saying that and they know they're going to get that. Giving something more that's, hey, you're looking at this leather good, as an example. Did you know that this is where our leather's made? Did you know that this is how long it lasts? Did you know this is our warranty? Did you know that this is our commitment to quality? Do you know these are our brand values? Elements like that build more presence and are less salesy about top of funnel to really buy people into the brand. So consider doing that within the browse abandonment. Very similar here to the abandoned cart in terms of subject line testing and looking at how you can A/B test within your flows. You can do that within Klaviyo, figure out how you can build better A/B testing within the copy you're putting in your subject lines and main headers as well. We've seen a lot of success there. Okay, next one, and I think this is probably one that is maybe overlooked, but also done very well by some brands, and it's the customer win back. You might not know, but it on average costs you 5 times more to get a new customer than find one that's already purchased from you before. And if you're a brand that's been around for a couple of years, you would have had different people purchase from you at different times, and going through your data and segmenting it into who is in your database that hasn't purchased from you in a year, in 6 months, in 2 years, in maybe 5 years, and getting back in touch with them with some value, with some insight, with some personalization is a great way to bring people back through. You can do this in many ways. You can look at it as, let's take all the abandoned carts from a year ago and try and reconnect with them. Or it might be, let's take everyone that purchased from us a year ago and connect with them. There are 2 different levels of scale. One of them knows your brand, they've got your product. One of them knows your brand, but they don't have your product. So they're kind of different levels of buy-in there. The main thing I would say to look at is that win back on purchases. It's super key and often overlooked. We're so focused on bringing in new customers and finding bigger audiences, but we're not looking at people who've already committed to our brand. We just need to nurture them along the way a little bit more. So customer win back can be great. You can automate it. So this is obviously a flow, so you can trigger it after a year of not purchasing or maybe 3 months. Depends on your product cycle and what that might look like. The best thing we've seen to do this is giving insight on new product that has happened in that space. So if you're about to launch a new product, setting up a new flow on the same time you do that product launch to start triggering with, hey, you might not have seen, but this is launched on that cycle of time. Let's say it's 3 months, 6 months, has been really effective over time. So look at how you can do that. But customer win back flow, I think a lot of people are missing out on this. If you're missing out on it, I would go and spend the time on there because it's an easy thing to set up and trigger. You can also do a little bit of testing with it, but you can set a really great offer. And what I mean by offer is insight value, new product, etc. And that's just happening over time, which means your retention cycle is kind of always shifting forward, hopefully, and you're pulling people back through without thinking about it, which is what we want. Customer thank you. So post-purchase, you're obviously sending receipts, you're obviously sending some level of order confirmation and what that looks like. I love a customer thank you post-delivery. So what I would mean here with as an automation is, let's say skincare has been ordered from your brand. Delivery time is 5 to 7 working days. Hopefully it's sooner. If you're in the UK or the US, it can be speedier. But products has arrived, you then trigger from order date, you go, okay, it's going to be maximum 7 days delivery, let's just say. Let's add another 7 days and go for another week because we think the customer will probably try it straight away. It's a skincare brand. They're going to be eager to see how it performs. And let's give them a week of using the product, or maybe let's give them 2 weeks. So let's say it's a week for this instance. So 2 weeks post-purchase, automation, which is a simple thank you. Thank you for being committed to our brand. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for aligning with our values. Thank you for being part of our community. You don't have to give them another discount to get them to purchase again. You maybe, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, want to pull in a product review. You maybe want to send a referral code. You maybe want to send them to your latest Instagram content and getting them to follow you on social. But having that level of commitment, and everyone knows these things are automated, you can get your head past that. But having that level of commitment, to just say thank you goes such a long way. And if you're a brand that's trying to build community within premium luxury, this is a big one that's missed out on. Not every flow needs to be conversion focused. You're building the blocks of a relationship with your customers and your audience. So focusing on how you can give some personality and personalize that. Thank you, Olivia. My name's Ollie, so I'm going over a reference there, but thank you, Olivia, as a skincare brand. Thanks for being a part of our community. Check out our Instagram page so you can see more of what we're up to, whatever that might look like. Give it some spice, give it some flavor, give me your brand personality within that. Doesn't have to just be focused on thanks so much. Do you want to buy another one? Do you want to upsell it? It doesn't need to be that. It can just be a thank you, and you'll be surprised those open rates. The subject line, a message from us, a little message from us to you, whatever that might look like. Give it something that makes people feel connected, and that will build upon the chances of them opening up another email, which maybe does have a conversion focus in mind. Back in stock. This, for me, is one I do think a lot of people miss out the opportunity on. Now, the first thing is we're obviously predominantly talking about premium luxury brands here. This would work for other brands as well if you're outside that space. But premium luxury, particularly luxury, there's a level of scarcity. There's a lot of brands are doing drops now. A lot of people do collections where we sell everything, we close the doors, we reopen the doors, bring that scarcity, bringing that excitement and hype, which is a great thing to think about no matter what category you're in. Limited editions, etc. I think you know what I mean. Back in stock is something that's often missed on. Building an automation that allows people to subscribe to the back in stock on that item is probably one of the easiest and most surefire ways to push that product as soon as it launches, and also gives you a good idea of what level of demand you have on that product before you maybe start making your operational decisions. Let's say you're a fashion brand and you're about to release bikinis and you've sold out for the winter season. You release all of your bikini stock back on in January and you say back out of stock coming March as an example. You put that subscription so they know when it delivers back. You get a couple of thousand people subscribe to that. It might help you make better decisions on your ordering and your stock volume. Often missed, often not thought about. You'll be surprised how many people actually do action it because they want to be reminded, because how else are they going to get notified? I know there's web notifications and socials to support new stock coming in. But back in stock is something that's often missed. And I think a lot of people just take the product down and then they re-release it again and push it in a new flow or a campaign or whatever that might look like. But I generally think back in stock is an easy automation to have on any product. And sometimes when you're low on stock, turning the stock off putting that back in stock on to see how much you need to order for the next couple of weeks, it's an easy win. And I think more people need to do it. I don't think many people do it at all. Some of the bigger brands do. Some of the smaller brands definitely don't. Think about it. Mentioned this before, but upsell automations. So these automations are often triggered again post-purchase. Sometimes immediately, which I think I've never really seen work that well on smaller premium luxury brands. I think it works on bigger ones, but high-ticket items are also quite difficult. But setting an upsell cycle is really key. A bit like I was saying before with the customer win back and that sort of cycle and what that might look like. Upsells are great for thinking about, right, someone's had our product for a month. What else can we showcase to them automatically? So post-purchase trigger, they purchased, put them into this flow, which would be an upsell flow. This could be accessories if you're a fashion brand. It could be sample kits if you're a skincare brand. It could be, if you're a watch brand, maybe accessories. There's so many things you could do. It could be smaller upsells, bigger upsells. What we have seen in this is trying to find a way to build dynamic emails which send products which relate to what they might have purchased. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a fashion brand and you are selling a beautiful cashmere sweater and it's the winter season. Finding the product to pair with that is quite key. So as an example, does someone then want a cashmere cap because they're into cashmere, they like the texture of it, they're willing to spend that bit more on that level of product versus a pair of your shoes? What's the connection? How can you build that outfit piece? And in the upselling, if you're in fashion, can you start to build what's going to pair? So let's say someone's bought a beautiful cream jumper, which is stunning, works really nice, neutral tones. They might not want a bright green cap. They might do, but they might not want it. The probability to pair those two might not come together. You're maybe suggesting a navy blue cap. Whatever might come through, find a way for your upselling to be more dynamically paired. You can do this within Klaviyo. You can build different collections and try and get really clever around it, leading into what people actually want, as opposed to just saying, hey, you brought this. Do you want exactly the same product again? Do you want exactly the same product, but a different flavor? Like, does that work? Test it, find out. F&B is a really good example here. Let's say someone's bought a certain flavored gin and you're just suggesting another gin to them. Is it because you find that most of those customers buy those packs? Or actually, do you want to sell a multi-pack as an upsell? Think about it, test it. Testing is the key with all this stuff. Really look at the segmentation you're looking at there. Product review. This is massively missed. I do not think this is pushed enough for premium luxury. I think premium luxury do not do enough work when it comes to reviews. I think it's seen as a bit too cheap, and I do understand that, but I do think product reviews are super key to do because you can be storing them in different ways. You don't always have to store product reviews externally. You can collect them and store them internally and then distribute them in things like email marketing. So have a think about that. When someone's fulfilled the order, triggering a few days, maybe triggering a month if you need to give it that period of time, and pushing people to placing some form of review within site, within Trustpilot, whatever platform you're using, and find a way to incentivize that. It might be 10% of next order. It might be free shipping. It might be entering into a draw. It might be win some form of retreat with our brand that they can send them on. If they're skincare, you maybe send them to one of your partner spas. Loads of ideas you can look at, but gathering reviews is so key. Social proofing is great. There is ways you can go a step higher and look at how people can build content for you within product reviews. One of the clients I've worked with in the past, they basically looked, instead of getting people to leave Trustpilot reviews, they actually built an email sequence which got them to send in and submit UGC content on the product. So which is the content we all need in the ad space, as you might know, but building actual reviews from videos of customers via email marketing that can then be used within things like meta ads with the right usage and permission rights, of course, but building a function like that from actual customers is a massive win. You're then using email to funnel and you're building retention, but you're also using it to build upon your new customer acquisition strategies. You could use that on organic, you could use it on ads, who knows, maybe the website. Product reviews, super key. You can automate that whole process, make it super simple. You can continue to test it. You can do different variations where maybe on someone's first order, you just get them to leave a review on a Trustpilot or on your own site, whatever that looks like. On their fourth order, maybe you try and do that video submission thing because they're more brought into the band. Test things, develop things, there's loads you can do. Final thing to mention here is a value series, a value flow, which I think is often missed, and that is an instruction series. Often, I know this might not always apply to fashion, but you'll be surprised how we can make it apply Two, skincare is quite an easy one to apply to, but to watch brands, etc. Instruction series are often trying to give some educational content, but I think a lot of people think about this in the wrong way. I think a lot of people think, oh, we need to be a skincare brand that sends like a, do you know how to use our product within your nighttime routine? Or do you know how to use our product within a, daily cycle, whatever that might look like? But actually things like fashion, you can apply the same thing. You brought that, let's go back to cashmere jumper. You brought a cashmere jumper. Here are the best fits that you can put with that. Here's the maintenance kit to wash it. Here is if you're going to send it to dry cleaners, this is exactly what you say. Little things like that, but just build personality. You'll be so surprised how little bits of information like that make people feel more brought into your brand and also care for the products you're selling within premium luxury. And in my opinion, I think the long term is massive. I don't think there's an industry where instruction series can't be altered and given as value. They're not a commercial driver for sure, but you'll be surprised that you get better open rates. And the more customers get value from your emails, the more they will open up those conversion emails because they think it's going to be more insightful. And to be honest, they are going to be. If I send an instruction series and I've just bought a candle, and I want to know how the best way to maintain and light it is. It sounds crazy, I know. But what happens when I spent £200 on a stunning candle and all the wax has gone up the side? What do I do? A simple email series to give you the insight of, do I microwave it? Do I heat it down? Do I break it off and put it in one of your Upsell sort of scent dishes, which I think a lot of brands sell, which are very useful for that recyclability? Do I do that? Plant brands, same thing, house care for a plant. That's almost like an easy win. There are so many examples from book brands to tech companies. You can always give instructional series and you'll be really surprised how setting them up as automations to go out periods of time after purchase make a massive difference. So that's it. There are 9 automations that you can think about today. I'd be interested to know how many of them you're using. Do try and let me down in the comments or drop us an email and tell us. If you're having any struggles with any of them, please do reach out to us. Our emails are down below in the description. Ad303, we're the creative performance agency for premium luxury brands. We understand this space. We understand how to keep customer retention and find new audiences and build those audiences for our clients. If you want to chat with us, get in touch. I thank you so much for your time today and I will see you on the next one.